March Madness, Sweet 16. Let's go. We got red hot Stevie Boyton, who has gotten 22-4 with his March Madness picks. We've got Kurt, who always seems like he's on cocaine, but he doesn't do it. And then there's me, Holden. I hope everybody's doing well today. We'll have the DFS plays for you. We're going to have the bets for you. We're going to have everything for you. But in true RPS style, we cannot start this show talking about the plays. There's a couple things going on right now. First of all, Kurt, you have had a massive run on Hinge lately, just crushing and crushing. For me, it was Twitter. No, not Twitter. Tinder. Tinder and Bumble, where I was cleaning up. There was a couple of one-legged ladies from something about fish. What was the fish? Meetthefish.com or Go Fishing. Let's Go Fishing. Keg got me on it. It was really bad. I met plenty of fish. I met a dominatrix on there, and then there's a whole bunch of people that looked like pirates. They like missing peg. They had peg legs and no eyes. But you're telling Steve to get on Hinge, and I don't understand this. Steve's trying to get laid, Kurt. That is if you want to get married, you go on Hinge.
I beg to differ. I feel like, so here's what Hinge is for. Hinge is for the girls who do want to get married. They think they want to get married, but they also are trying to fuck on the first night. So, I mean, it's crazy. Like, you legit go take them to get one drink and like the panties drop.
See, that wasn't my thing. Hinge was horrible for me. Sean G says he goes to Grinder. All right. I mean, whatever you like to do, it's probably a lot easier over there, Sean, I'm sure. But I'm just saying, how's it going on Hinge right now, Steve?
So I just downloaded it the other day, and I've been Kurt helped me with my pictures and stuff. So, but I'm being really picky to start. I'm not casting the wide net or anything. I'm only liking the reaches, at least for now.
Okay. All right. So will you try Tinder? I recommend you do. Just do it.
I think I'm going to stick with one app for now. See how it goes.
Steve's going to have a dry workbench. Dry workbench.
It's still cold here. It's going to snow tomorrow. So, not in a huge rush yet. But
okay.
Baseball does start in a week. So, we'll be going to a bunch of games and we'll need company.
Actually, that's great. Yeah, you got the Tinder would be the best thing. Hinge. All right, whatever happens, Steve, but that's fine. I hope it works out for you. Second thing is the Farmer Needs a Wife. Is that the name of the show? This really hot blonde followed all of us. She's gorgeous, right? Yeah. Really toned body. Doesn't seem like she's a farmer. I don't know the premise of the show. I would think that it's a farmer choosing from some really hot hillbilly women. What's going on here? Because saw the fall. I was like, wow, this is impressive.
Yeah. So Saturday night we were all pretty drunk and stoned. And after the last game, the TV, how we couldn't change it from CBS or Fox or whatever it was, that main TV, this show just came on called Farmer Wants a Wife. And it's these three complete hillbillies. It's basically like a bachelor show, and they're picking between all these hot Southern girls. So, there was lots of commentary, laughing, making fun of some of the girls, mainly by JT. So JT was driving this whole thing. He tweeted about it, tagged all of us, tagged Kamala Harris for some reason. He tagged all of us, and then he also tagged Kamala Harris. And then the other day, she just responded to us, or responded to Mangone or something. She has 70 followers. So
yeah,
it's kind of
half
wild.
of them are from RPS now.
I know.
That's
but yeah, wild. The show's awful. I actually looked it up on IMDb. It has a 2.2 out of 10. So
yeah, well, she's like a 9 out of 10. So
yeah,
I think that show probably didn't work out for her too well. Steve, you're single.
I'll find her on Hinge. Don't worry.
I would drop her. You should ask her. You should DM her on Twitter and just be like, "Hey, are you on Hinge? Because I'd really like to connect with you." I'm planning on going out to the Magic Kingdom by myself because I saw she was in Orlando too. That's a good line for you, pal. So you finally got your wish. We got a private show here. This is good, just for the subscribers, just for the members. Kurt, what's happening in your world, buddy? How is the Hinge run going for you?
Right now I'm in West Virginia, so I don't even try to open the app because there is absolutely no women in West Virginia at all. So until I get to Florida in a week, I'm kind of out of commission right now.
That girl's in Orlando, Kurt.
Oh yeah, the girl I was fucking. Oh my gosh, she's so hot from here. But I like she eventually caught on to like I was just coming in to fuck her, and then I would go back to DC. She caught on to it. Now she won't text me back. But ooh, she is very fine.
Yeah, but the girl in Orlando is probably better looking.
Actually, the girl in Tampa. I'm already got a wifey lined up. She's in Tampa though, so yeah.
You don't want to make a little pit stop and get the farmer's wife in Orlando before you go to Tampa?
Oh, that's where she is. That's the girl I'm sorry. That's the girl you're referring to.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is she hot?
She's at Magic Kingdom. That's what he just
said.
said.
She's really hot, Kurt. Like
I didn't get tagged in the
hot.
tweet. Even though I was there, I didn't get tagged in the tweet. So I was sitting there on the couch high as shit, but God forbid no one tags Kurt. I didn't get the follow from her. So
all right. Well,
I mean, if you follow her, she'll follow you back within 5 minutes, Kurt. Actually, follow her now, and I'll bet you she follows you back while we're still on the show.
Ooh,
and she's actually hot. Why would she?
Like really good looking. Her body is sick. What the fuck? And then the other thing, what is this? Monogamy on dating apps. Honorable move, Steve, from Go Collect. I mean,
I just don't have the time to juggle multiple apps, you know.
What's the girl's name?
Man. Kylie, I think.
That narrows it down.
That's a cute name too, Kylie.
Oh, you want her Twitter handle? It's she followed me, so I can pull it up.
I almost want to watch an episode of that show for her now. Maybe I can find it on YouTube, some clips.
Good.
Right?
Her name is Kylie Blakely, and it's at Jim BAEK.
Yeah.
She's
what?
Got
Jim?
GYM. Like she goes to the gym.
Okay.
She's up to 81. All her followers is RPS.
She's up to 81 followers.
She loves us.
She had like 60 yesterday.
She loves us, buddy.
Yeah, I'm immediately sliding the DNs if she's like, I don't do blondes, but just for funsies.
Well, I would totally slide in there. I'd get in so much trouble. My girlfriend has like that radar too. She knows. She's like, were you DMing some girl? I'm like, no. Ooh. So anyways, let's get into this slate. Like I said, Boynton has just been on fire. I rarely blind tail anybody, but right now he's on a run. 22-4. We got 4 games coming up tonight. Let me read them off real quick. The 1-8 with Bama and San Diego State. We got Houston and Miami, which is going to be awesome. Princeton, Creighton, biggest spread there, 10. And then Xavier, Texas, Sean Miller's team going up against the Texas team that I feel like can win it all. So lots to get into. We'll do the DFS side first, but I do give the lines here. San Diego State was an 8-point dog, now a 7-point dog. 137.5 is the total. Interesting thing about San Diego State being in the Mountain West, I've had a chance to watch a little bit of them, Steve. Number 1 in transition defense. That will be interesting to see against this Alabama team tonight. Break it down here from the DFS side first, Bama and San Diego State.
Yeah, interesting game. Like you said, San Diego State stopped a lot of what Bama does, but they, on the other hand, they just haven't seen a team like Bama pretty much the entire year. Obviously, the toughest test of the season for them. I took the San Diego State +8. I don't think they've laid 8 the entire season. I think the highest they laid before this game was like 5. So I'll take the 8 in what I think should be a close game. Ken Palm's got it 6. I worry a bit that Bama just woodsheds them, especially if Miller's healthy. But the right number is State +8. As far as DFS, San Diego State runs this like deep rotation. We talked about it last weekend. They run like 9-10 guys, which kind of sucks, but it keeps their prices down a bit. They're led by Matt Bradley, the Cal transfer, overweight guard. He's at 5'9". He has the highest usage. I think he's fine as like a last man in type. I'm just not finding myself landing at that 5'9" spot today personally. And then the 2 guys in the 4K range I think are interesting are Parrish and Agwek Arap. Parrish is coming off that good game against Furman. But the issue is like you're only getting low 20s minutes out of all of these guys. But as we'll talk about it as we go through the slate, there's just not much value. So we have to take some of these uncomfortable under 5K guys just because of the context of the slate. So you got Parrish coming off the ceiling game, and then Arap is their best defender. As Kurt put in the playbook, he's just like a long athlete. I think they're going to put him on Brandon Miller. So I think that he could see, like, there are paths where Arop plays like 25, 26 minutes instead of 20 here just because they need him out on the court to guard the best player on Bama. So I do have Arop in here. I'm kind of waffling on putting him in the core just because with the teams that I'm building, I think you can kind of mix and match these 4K guys, and I don't have a ton of confidence in any of them. So I think I'm going to be building around the guys I have conviction on, and then whichever of the cheap guys fit that are in my pool, I'm fine with. On the Bama side, Brandon Miller. Wow, this is the lowest price we've seen him, Kurt, since like Christmas at 8.8. Coming off the groin injury, they didn't really need him in the first round. He played 34 minutes against the Terps, so that was pretty encouraging. I think he's an awesome tournament play here. Tough matchup, pace down spot, but top 5 player in the country here, under 9K. You're getting a bargain. I don't think he's going to be super owned because pricing is tight, and he's the highest price guy on the slate. I started, Kurt, my second lineup with Brandon Miller. So like, I don't think he's going to make my main, but he's going to make my second team. I'm playing 3 lineups in the 222. I'm going to have a main. I'm going to have a Brandon Miller led team, and then I'm going to have a Xavier Texas game stack that we'll talk about later. But I think Brandon Miller's the best like tournament play on the slate here. He's got 50 plus upside. Kurt and I have talked about it every Saturday. We want to target Miller in games where Bama could be pushed and it's not going to be a blowout. And if we're betting the +8 holding, I think this is a game where, we think that San Diego State keeps it relatively close and they push him to that 35 plus minute range, which is where he can really smash. Outside of Miller, I kind of want Kurt's take on the 6K guys. So Bama's got 3 guys in the mid 6Ks that I think are pretty key to the slate. You got Noah Clowney, who's had some foul issues recently, but man, he's been 7.5 for the last month or so. So you get a bit of a price dip on him. So the foul discount is kind of baked in there, which is nice. And then Quinn versus Bediako, I think, is interesting. Quinterly been really good down the stretch. Besides that blowout in the first round of the tournament, he's played big minutes. 34 and 33 the last 2 actual games that they played, and the usage is high. I mean, I like Quinn a ton. Bediako's got the 40 plus ceiling though. His minutes bumped up in the SC tournament, and to start this tournament, he's rebounding the shit out of the ball right now. And if he doesn't foul, I think he's going to have a great game here. They're going to need his size against the Aztecs. So right now I'm undecided on Quinn versus Bediako. I'll definitely have both in my 3 lineups, but I do want to hear what Kurt has to say on those guys too.
Ooh. So you said you're doing both in all 3?
No. I'm playing both, with
my
lineups. I'm trying to decide on which for main, because I'm coming to that 6.5 range for my last man in.
So my take is this part doesn't line up analytically, but just from the I know ball theory, one of these guys, between Quinterly and Bediako, one of these guys is failing today. It's a low total game. Both these guys are actually pretty volatile. They've just been awesome lately. They're completely different positions. Bediako's the anchor in the middle, and then Quinterly's the guy running the show. It's completely different. But I just don't think both these guys are going to get there. So I'm going to have one or the other. I feel more confident in Bediako just because I really love the shot blocking ability and stuff. And the fact that he's been able to withstand some of those fouls makes me feel even better. And then, man, as far as San Diego State, I'll sprinkle them 150, but I'm not playing them in any hand builds besides a rope. And I'll probably not play Brandon Miller in that one because that game script for me will be he's actually doing a pretty good job on Miller. Miller only goes for 40 fantasy points or something. So I'm not going to have a rope and Miller. And then I actually will have – I'm doing 5 or 6 hand builds. I'm going to have Clowney in one of them as the 6K guy. He's not a selfish player. So if he's missing shots, he's not going to keep shooting. But if he does shoot, this is a cheap price. He could pay this off and be kind of sneaky and maybe outscore Quinterly and Bediako. Maybe. And that's about the extent for this game. It is tough. I wish I had some more conviction on the cheapies, but they messed up the minutes again last game. We had Griffin and Bradley go back to 8, and then Burnett re-enter the rotation the last 2, so it's a mess.
Okay, so just to recap here, the value, couple from San Diego State, Parrish or Rop, and then Brandon Miller's got to be a play, and it comes down to one of either Quinterly or Bediako, right?
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. No conviction yet on the Bediako Quinn. I think Quinn's safer. Let's put it that way. I think Quinn's going to play 30 plus in this game. Bediako has a big time foul rate. But if he stays on the court, his ceiling is higher than Quinn's, if all that makes sense.
Okay, very good. Game number 2, Miami, Houston. What is this, 4 straight years now for Houston into the Sweet 16? You've got Marcus Sasser, who says he's playing at 90% now. I mean, he did score 22 points in that last game. And then on the other side, it's been a little while. What is it? Sweet 16s consecutively for Miami. They haven't done that in ages. So it's a big one, big game here with a 7.5 point spread. Houston 7.5 point favorites. 139 is the total. So it's not the biggest total on the slate. That's obviously going to be Xavier, Texas. But if we want to go to plays from this game, let's start on the Houston side. Is it Sasser? Is it Roberts? Who do we want to pay up for from Houston?
I mean, shit, I think we should start with this picture that Jay Ruff posted in the live show chat that our girl Kylie posted on Twitter recently.
I told you she's gorgeous.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but she's been wearing like big shirts in the show, and here's her at the gym.
She's ripped.
Yeah. So, all right. So the Miami-Houston game, got a little off track there.
Holy mama.
I know. So in the betting side, we tied Houston to a bunch of moneyline parlays. If you're following us in Discord, we had them with UConn, we have them with Bama, we have them with Creighton and Bama. So we're on Houston to win here. I added Houston team total over 72.5. So I like Houston to score here. Miami, we kind of rode them last weekend in both games. Kurt finally got me on them against Drake. So we bet them there, and then we bet them in the Sunday game, I believe it was. But you have to know when to hop off, and this is the time. We talked about it with the Houston matchup with Auburn. Teams that are like guard heavy and undisciplined who don't rebound well, these are the teams that Houston just eats alive. And I think Houston plays well here. Miami's talented. They've been here before, but man, Houston at full health is a tough ask. On the Miami side, I will note Wooga Poplar got hurt in that game on Sunday. Hadn't practiced all week. Got into practice yesterday. Ncaa said we'll see how he feels today. It's in this first window, so we will get the news before this game locks because this game will start exactly at the DK time, so that helps. If Wooga's out, then Bensley Joseph will start. We actually played him. It was like a core play in some game down the stretch where someone missed.
The Duke game.
What?
Like the Duke game or some shit, right?
Yeah, and he gave us like 28. So if Wooga doesn't play, or if we get hurt that he's going to be limited or anything like that, then we can just go right to Bensley Joseph as the best value on the slate. So be in Discord. I'll be looking out for that news like a hawk because honestly, we don't have much value. If we get a slam dunk one, especially with the late news, we're definitely going to want to be on it. I think he's a fine play either way. I think I'm going to play him. I'm probably going to play him in one of 3, even if Woogs plays, because he seems to be like pretty questionable here. So I'm not expecting full minutes, even if he does go. Probably full fading Miami just because I'm only playing 3 lineups. So I'll let Kurt talk about what he's doing in the 150 with Miami. But on the Houston side, I've got most of my core up right now. I've got Jarris Walker in the core. He's at 7.5. I think he's a great pivot off of what's going to be a popular Dylan DeSue. And I think, if we think Houston scores 75 plus on the slate, they're probably going to be like the second highest scoring team on the slate. So we want a piece. I think Walker's got a great matchup. But as it's been like the whole season, these teams that make it far are there because they're so balanced. Like, we'll talk about Creighton's the same way, Xavier, Houston is that. Like, they've got 5 guys, and any one of the 5 can carry them in any specific game. So tough to choose one. I like Walker the best, but wouldn't fault you for playing any of these 5 starters. And yeah, that's about all I've got here.
Kurt, who's your favorite of the 5 starters for Houston? Actually, rank a couple, 1, 2, and 3.
All right, so I'm gonna be in step with Steve. I'm gonna go Walker. The guy's just, oh man, I think it's gonna be a great matchup for him personally. Love my Miami boys, but he's gonna give them fits at the stretch 4. And I'm gonna go Sasser. And then we'll go Tremont Mark just because he's 6'9". You can save $600. Yeah, it's just the $600 savings is a lot on this slate. So I'm gonna go Walker, Sasser, Tremont Mark, mid-range Mark. Shout out mid-range Mark.
Okay. Anybody else you like from this game on the Miami side?
So for main team plays, it's really hard to say. But like for MME, I'm definitely gonna be overweight on Norchad Amir. I mentioned it in the playbook. I mean, like that ECU guy was not very good. And he dropped 20 and 20 on their ass. So like I don't think Amir's gonna do that, but I want to be probably 2x the field on him just in case he does have like 15, 10, like 3 blocks, some shit like that. So we'll be over on him. Jordan Miller. Yeah. Just this, like a Miami guy, I sprinkle in 150. I don't love any of this entire game for main team plays. I like the Princeton Creighton game. I like one piece from the like Bama game. And then of course the matinee of them all, Xavier, Texas.
Okay. Very good. So just a recap as far as the plays goes, Walker, Sasser, Mark, and really nobody on the Miami side. Steve.
Joseph,
yeah, just monitoring that Poplar news. If we get anything about him being out or limited or anything like that, then I think we can go to Bensley Joseph at 4-3, and I might play him anyways just because we're so starved for value here.
So Joseph should be in the mix there. Okay, we're through 2 games. Let's get to the third. It's so nice not having to ask for likes, just doing this for the members. So much better, so much fun. What up, members? Hope you guys are doing great. Let's keep going. And we got the Princeton Creighton game. 10-point spread, Princeton, the dogs. We've got 140.5 is the total now. Nobody expected Princeton to be here. Creighton was a hot team at the beginning of the year to win it all. Went through the struggles without Kalkbrenner, and then he's back, and now they're rolling. They've got Nebhart. Who do we want to pick from Creighton, if anybody, Steve? And then do we even want to bother with Princeton?
Yeah, on the betting side, Creighton's a great moneyline parlay piece. You know, if you're tagging the 2, whether it's college basketball, NBA, you know, like an MMA fight, you just add the Creighton moneyline in there. I do like that. And they're the obvious survivor play for tonight. So just use Creighton and save Houston and Bama, I think is the play for sure. As far as DFS, Creighton, just like we talked about with Houston, has 5 starters that are going to play the whole game. We loved Creighton coming to this tournament. We had them actually winning this game and losing to Bama in our, the bracket show that we did. I think all 5 of them are really good plays here. Kalkbrenner at 8K. We saw him in the first game when Creighton got pushed, play like 38 minutes. That is huge. Has a pretty good matchup inside against a smaller, less athletic Princeton team. I think he can have his way. Shireman has had a rough tournament so far, but that's brought his price down about $1,000 here. I think he's a really interesting tournament play. I'll bet Kurt has a bunch of Shireman here if he's playing 150. My favorite Creighton is Nembhard. Man, he looked awesome in that game on Sunday night. And I think he's just got more consistent ceiling than Trey Alexander does. They're very similar. I feel like I just trust Nembhard more. The ball's in his hands more. But both are great plays here. Like, I love all of these Creighton guys. Kaluma, definitely my least favorite. He has more games with foul issues. He doesn't touch the ball as much. I think, like Kurt, I think Kaluma and Kalk I would exclude playing those 2 together because the games where Kaluma goes off are when he has like those 10, 12 rebound games, which would hurt Kalk's upside. Yep. And then I should mention Farabello is their 6th man. They're basically playing 6 guys. Farabello in their last couple games has played 17, 18, and 22 minutes. Very low usage, but we're starved for value. Farabello's 3.7. So this is the first guy that we've talked about under 4K. he could definitely get you like a 5 here. But he's coming off a game where he got to like 15. If he does that, it's like full pants off. So I think Farabello is interesting in tournament lineups where like you want to pay up for a Brandon Miller, something like that. So I'll probably be doing that in one of my 3. And I'll let Kirk talk about the Princeton guys. I know he had a great call on Langboard over the weekend. And I don't really have a great feel for any of those guys here today with the team total at 66.
So Landberg's not actually still not popping. This is kind of crazy. I'm doing the same thing with Creighton. Like I want Nim or Alexander. I'm leaning Alexander, but I mean, like that's like picking hairs. Like I mean, both are fine. I definitely want one or the other. And I think it's the same. Believe it or not, I think it's the same thing with the Princeton guys. Like I want Landborg or Aloko. And I'm leaning Aloko because I want to save. I think this 200 savings was enough for me in my lineup because I had Landborg, couldn't get it what I wanted. Ended up going Aloko. I think he gets hot here. Princeton's going to chuck threes. Like they realize that against these teams, they can't go inside. Same thing with Missouri. Like they just can't. It's not possible. So they're just going to chuck threes. And these two guys are going to be the two of the dudes that chuck. And I actually think Aloko, I think I have a prop for him. I'm doing his points, rebounds, assists over 16.5. And I knew I would get away from these 3-point props for a college. I can't do it. 2+ threes for Aloko as well. And he's my favorite player.
Kurt, we talked about the 3-point props like an hour ago.
Listen, I know I have a problem. I'm definitely on the PRA though. So the PRA is going to hit and then I'll go even. That's what's going to happen. And then Martini, starting for value here. I can't put Martini on a main team. The dude comes off the bench. You have no idea how many minutes he's going to get. But 150, I think you got to have him in the pool. As far as Creighton goes, I think Kaluma is going to be extremely overlooked here. Everyone's going to obviously want to have Nimhard Alexander. Like I said, they're going to want Kalkbrenner. It's probably going to be one of the highest on the slate. And then they start having this. And then if they get that stretch far, like, okay, well, I want to go Baylor. And then Kaluma's just going to fall under the table there. And I think it's a good leverage play. I think he can honestly be the second highest scorer for Creighton and shock a lot of people.
Steve, are you going to put more than 3 in your core today, or are you just going to leave us hanging?
Yes, I will. I haven't decided my main team yet. I talked about that earlier. Like, I know that those 3 are going to be in it. And as we talk through, I'm trying to decide on the last couple pieces here.
All right. Before we get to the last game, like I want to play the how many is too many game. Okay. Like how many is too many from Houston? How many is too many from Creighton? How many is too many from Texas coming up? Can you talk about that? Is there like a max you would play from one team? How about this? Is there a team you would play 3 from tonight in the same lineup? Either one of you.
Yeah, we're about to talk about them here.
All right, here we go. Let's go. This is the only one you'll play 3 from though, right? Texas?
Yeah, because like the issue with playing 3 Creighton or 3 Houston is they're expensive. So like you would have to get overtime or just a crazy game that goes way over the total.
What if you did 2 of the Creighton starters and then Farabello?
I think that's fine.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say that's what I have.
But like as far as the starters, yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
no,
like you can use enough Farabello. I think that's fine, just because you're not using him because you're stacking up Creighton. You're using him because he's 3.7K.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, let's get into this one here. We got Texas, 4-point favorites over Xavier. Sean Miller, hell of a good coach. We know Texas and the whole Beard situation. They're just so talented. 148 is the total, Steve. I think, did you mess with the total in this game? You got the over, don't you?
Yeah, so this is the first bet of the week. We took, it was either 148 or 148.5. I can't remember. I like the over here. 2 teams that are willing runners and 2 teams that allow other teams to run because they want to run themselves. We saw the Xavier Pitt game get way up and down. I think this is going to be kind of similar here. I've got Xavier in my bracket, but man, this is a tough spot for them. I think Texas wins this game, but I'll be rooting for Xavier. As far as DFS goes, Xavier is kind of the same thing as Creighton. We've talked about it all season where they've got multiple studs. Xavier, a little more condensed than Creighton, where they only have 3 guys instead of 4 or 5. They've got Colby Jones, Jack Nunge, and Sule Boom. We saw Nunge have just that monster half against Pitt and then picked up like 3 or 4 fouls in a couple of minutes in the second half. I think he bumps back up to 33, 35 minutes here. And then Jones had the big game against Pitt. He's the highest price at 8.6. And then Boom had the big second half at 7-9. Seems to be over that ankle injury that was bothering him late in the season. I really like Nunge and Boom here. Debating Nunge or Boom on my main lineup. And then that third team that's going to be the Xavier Texas stack, I'm probably going to play both. So yeah, it's a great game. Both team totals are above 75. So like, even though Xavier's a dog, they still have a higher team total than Bama, something like that. So, just keep that in mind. Outside of the top three, we saw Kunkel have the awesome nuke first half against Pitt and then do nothing in the second half. I put in the playbook. That's just the story of his career in 2 20-minute halves. He's either hitting his threes or he's not, and he's doing nothing. So I think he's like a game stack piece, is how you use Kunkel. And then Desmond Claude, I think, is interesting under 5K here. He was the guy that we were playing right when the Fremantle injury happened, like 3-5. He's seen 30-plus minutes in 2 of the last 3 games. I don't love the price, but under 5 is pretty greasy here. And I think he is, I don't want to say safe, but I think he is, he has a good chance to give you like 15 to 18 here, Kurt. I feel decently safe that, if we look at what they did last game, so Xavier played 6 guys last game. And if you're only playing 6 guys against Texas with a team total of 75-ish, I think it's fine playing the 6-man at 4,500. So I like Claude a good bit here. I think he's in consideration for a main lineup. I might actually core him, debating on how I go about the next hour or so. So, not the most exciting guy, but it's the context of the slate play for sure. The biggest decision on the slate, obviously, is what to do with Kurt's guy, Dylan Dessou. He's at 7.6 now. So he's not 5K, he's not 6K, he's 7,600. So the issue is, if you click Dessou, you're clicking him over like a Jarris Walker, you're clicking him over a Kalkbrenner, over a Sule Boom, over a Sasser, guys like that. You're not clicking him over Ryan Langborg. So, so it's a big decision because he was playing, 18 to 22 minutes the whole season and then placed 31 last time out. I'm not sure if it was a matchup thing against Penn State. I'm not sure, because if you play him at 7,600 and he plays 20 minutes, you're really giving up a lot of equity there, and he's going to be really owned. I know RG has him projected for 40% ownership here. So the rates are huge, but so is the foul rate too. Like, part of the reason why he's playing 18 to 22 is because he fouls a lot. It's a good matchup. It's a good pace spot. He's a good play. I just have some reservations. So that's something that I personally haven't decided on yet. I did want to hear from Kurt on it.
Real quick, just on Dessou. Real quick on Dessou, because he was the MOP in the Big 12 tournament, and then he went nuts against Penn State. What was it, like 28-10 or somewhere around there? And you're saying maybe a little question mark? Is that what it is?
Yeah. So the question mark for him all season has been the minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He's played low 20s most of the year and then pops up randomly for a 31-minute game against Penn State. Was that game plan? Was that they're going to start pushing him more? It's tough for me to play a guy at 8K that I have questions like, is he going to be on the court? If he is, he's obviously a great play. I prefer Jarris Walker right there. I think you can play both. So I don't want to come on here and say just don't play him because he could go for 40. But I do have some question marks. And outside of him, I think I have 2 Texas guys in my core. I've got Timmy Allen, who's back to health at 6'4", definitely underpriced there. Stepped right back into 34 minutes last game, and that was super encouraging. And then Tyrese Hunter at 5'4". It's just going to be out there a ton. And if you're going to play 35 minutes in this game environment at 5K, I'm going to want you on my team. So I've got TA and I've got Tyrese Hunter in my core. This is the spot where I was talking about 3 guys from one team. So I think you can play a Dessou, you can play a Serge Rice, or you can play a Marcus Carr, who's going to get lost in the shuffle here at 7'4". Hasn't shown ceiling in a while, but it would kind of be poetic if everyone hops on Max Price, Dessou, and Marcus Carr has his ceiling game. Kurt, we have seen guards go off all season against Xavier, so I do think it's a good spot for Carr here. Debating on playing him in that Xavier Texas game stack.
I like that.
What you got for us, Kurt?
So I'll be hopping off the Dessous train. I think the difference now is like the last two matchups have been like dream come trues. We always play bigs against Penn State. And the other game was fucking Colgate. Like now he's 7-6. I think he can have a good real life game here and still not get there. And you have leverage on 40% that are going to play him. So I will be hopping off. I'm maybe my fourth hand build. I'll shove him in. And of course, I'm shoving him on FanDuel because you get 3 for blocks there. But I will be underweight on him. And as far as the rest of the game, I mean, I'm not saying like the matchup is like extremely scary, but Jack Nunge is a pretty big body. The guy can block shots. He's not an athletic freak, but he's going to put up more resistance than fucking Penn State did. So I will be going. My favorite play probably in the game will be Serge Ibaka. The guy has an insane ceiling. He just hasn't been making shots. If he gets hot, that dude will not pass the ball. I think Marcus Carr, like Steve mentioned, is kind of an interesting. No one's going to play his ass at all. He's actually projecting well, and probably I doubt anyone really does play him in like single entry, 3 entry max shit like that. And then Sully Boom. Here's how I script this game. Sully Boom and Serge Rice just go back and forth, both get 50, and I ship everything. That's how I'm playing this. I think Sully Boom goes off. I think Claude was very interesting. Like a high total game, dude's going to play like the entire game. So not to mention if Kunkel gets hurt, then he's the spot up shooter for Xavier. So that's also interesting. I don't mind Claude. Kind of like Claude or Joseph, depending on the popular news.
What do you think of Boom?
I am going to say heavy amounts of Boom.
Now, you like him. What about Steve? I don't remember hearing you talk about him.
I prefer Nunge a little bit more because I think Nunge has got more paths to big-ass games, with the rebounds and blocks, whereas Boom usually has to score. Also, Tyrese Hunter is going to be in his jersey the whole game, which concerns me a little bit, but I am going to have Boom on 1 of 3. I'm going to have him in that Xavier game stack for sure. I mean, this is a guy who is $9K for weeks, and now we're getting him under 8. And this is kind of the Dessous thing, Do you play Dessous or do you play an underpriced Sully Boom? So definitely interesting.
All right, that's it. We got through the 4 games. Very good. And you wanted to get out of here by 40 minutes. We got it, dude. We got it. You want to give your play of the night, Steve? Play of the night from Kurt, and then we'll get out of here. What's your play of the night, Steve?
Yeah, so just real quick, if anyone has any like 2v2 questions or lineup questions, just put them in the Discord between now and lock, and I will get to them. Westlake in the chat says it's hard to imagine him not playing 30 here. Yeah, I mean, we've said that the whole season, but then he goes out and plays 19 minutes. So I agree that they should be playing Dessous more, but they just haven't the entire season. So hard to trust that. My play of the day, I'm going to go with Jarris Walker. I've got a lot of conviction here. He's in that bin of mid 7K plays where there are just a lot of them. So hopefully, he's not super owned here. I think he's got a good matchup. Miami, I mean, like we said earlier, this is the time to hop off, and he's the Houston piece that I'm going to be choosing to ride with tonight. Okay,
Jarris Walker. What about you, Kurt?
Going a little weird. And partly is because Landborg went off for me, but I'm going to go Matt Aloka, a Princeton guard. I think he goes like 2 of 8 shooting threes. I think he steps a stat sheet, maybe scores like 15 points for us, 6.1K. Give me Matt Aloka, Princeton.
Okay.
2%.
Very good. Again, if you got any questions, get into the NCAA basketball chat in the Discord. Don't go to the chat. Go to just NCAA-basketball. Now, if you want to go to the chat side, that's bets. Steve will give some bets in the basketball one, but he'll also be answering your questions. Maybe Kurt will too. NCAA-basketball. It's in the daily fantasy section.
Yeah, all of my bets are pinned in that channel for tonight and for tomorrow.
And then anybody that wants to hear more about the gorgeous farmer girl that we discussed that's following all of us on Twitter, feel free to tune into the final countdown for the NBA show coming up in about an hour and 20 minutes. Okay. For Kurt, for Steve, you guys are awesome. Let's go win some money tonight. Have a great night. And thanks for running pure.